Welcome to the Bringing Intimacy Back show, where intimacy is real. If you desire to intimately connect with yourself, your significant other, children, family, friends, community, and higher power, this show is for you. We explore intimate topics, inspiring life stories, spirituality, and insightful tips on strengthening relationships. The show is hosted by Dr. April and her co-host, Coach K. Let's get this episode of the Bringing Intimacy Back show started. We share with you today the secret power to intimacy to create a life you love or love the life you create. Now, here's your host, Dr. April, and co-host, Coach K.
Welcome to the Bringing Intimacy Back show, where intimacy is real. How are you doing, Coach K?
I am doing great today. I did some office work, so I'm feeling like pumped up. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. This morning, I was awakened by the beautiful sounds of wind and rain and storm, you know, here down in Southwest Florida. So yes, we were experiencing a little hurricane kind of stuff. So yes, and good evening to you, QB.
Hey, QB Kennels.
Yes. So I am just so excited today because today we are talking about humanity.
And we need some humanity in the grand scheme of life. That's a great topic.
Yes, because you know what? Actually, this week it's been, like you said, I'm not sure if that's what you're saying. It's been very tense with all the changes in politics and government and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, it definitely, every time, between once a year, every other year, and every 4 years, this time comes around. And then you go slide from that straight into holidays. So humanity is necessary right now.
Yes. And when I think about humanity, I also think about how simple life is for animals and how they organize themselves and that kind of stuff and live in harmony.
Yes, they do. If only we can continue to take our handbook from nature, I think some people will be a little bit happier just in life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Of course, we can't walk around naked and just bombarding ourselves around everywhere, but in your own home, do what you want.
Right, definitely. But at least we have, the respect for other people and that kind of stuff. So,
yes,
which I think just listening to all the news and stuff, this voting season, at least that was mostly pretty good, which I was happy for. Definitely. Yes. Yeah. So every show we highlight a nonprofit or people that are in need. And just to let you know, our charity of the month is still the Del Prado Mall, where our office is. Yes, we're still trying to pay for a roof that we just could not afford because of the hurricane. So if you're thinking about that, please go onto our website and click on the link for the GoFundMe. And that will be the end of that. So I'm excited that we have a great guest come on.
Yeah, I'm really excited to learn more and hear all about what he has to share with us.
Yes, and he's going to share with us about the human potential that sometimes I think we just don't really think about, and wisdom and how we can find our true value for humans. So when we come back, I am going to introduce Mr. Michael, and we'll be back in a moment.
Jamaica, Paradise Island in the Caribbean. Discover quiet waterfront treasures just mere steps away from paradise. Enjoy true Jamaican specialties, live reggae music, hotter than Hades, spiced jerk pork, and chicken sold from beachside vendors. Join vacation counseling in Jamaica on February 12th through the 15th. Surprise your Valentine with a sun-kissed, relaxing, romantic getaway to Portland, Jamaica. What are you waiting for?
Welcome back to the Bringing Intimacy show, where intimacy is real. How are you doing, Michael?
I'm doing great. You just fired up my neurons when you talked about, we got to go back to humanity. And I think politics and voting is such a, it's just like reminding us of humans, right? We vote actually in a tribe to get the best people that are the best leaders or the best facilitators for certain things. And I think we forget that every time we, in this political season, where because it's all about parties and propositions, and it's not about what does that really do for humanity? What is doing that for, let's say, Florida, like where you are from? What is that doing for your district, for the humans in this district? It's not about what is a better or worse solution. What is the problem? It's basically, why do we even have that problem? Why do we need to make a proposition? Where are we failing as humans?
Right.
And I think often when we look at this, we are more failing as in the system, because humans are limitless. You know that. I mean, we are all challenged because we exist, right? Every human living is like nature. Every living being has challenges. The bacteria, the virus, everything. The existence equals challenge. Doesn't mean submitting, doesn't mean sacrificing, doesn't mean, because in nature, nothing sacrifices.
Right.
So it's constantly adapting and seeing, oh, hey, accept you have challenges. You're alive, you have challenges. And it's constantly adapting to the challenge and creating balance.
Definitely. And so I see you're a person who just like jumps right in.
Oh, yeah.
Which is wonderful. Yes. And on the show, exactly. One of the reasons why we have this show is because I felt like people were disconnected. You know what I'm saying? The humanity wasn't there. And so this show is focused on intimacy, the connection. How do you define intimacy, and how do you see it in the sense of humanity?
I think I thought a little bit about, because I always look at the name of a show and then look, because that's basically your essence that you represent, and intimacy is, I think intimacy is given, but it was segregated by systems, meaning because intimacy with every human, you have intimacy with every animal. Animals have intimacy right away. They're intimate, they're playing with each other. It's all play, it's joking, it's funny. When they get angry, they're just through for a short time and then they go apart. So it's the intimacy in nature, and we are still part of nature, is here. But I think why we even make intimacy a word is because we have lost it. We have lost it, like you said. We have lost, and a lot of people are afraid of getting too close, because people think they have to be system relevant. I have to be the best CEO in the world. I have to be the best, whatever, marksman in the world. I have to be the best sports person in the world. And it's not about this. It's all in the success is success is not your fault, basically. It's like when everything aligns and you're in balance, then everything works.
Right. And I was just thinking, I was just thinking about that, as you're saying, in nature, and when you see two animals come together, sometimes they sniff each other.
Yeah.
And then they go in.
And we do the same thing. We're just not aware. We do the same thing.
Yeah, but at recent times, just don't. We don't get as close.
Yeah. Because we are separated.
We come with judgmental things. We don't really truly sniff based on how. It's just a.
No. And I think on that level, you don't have pushback. When you talk everything you want to achieve in the context of humanity and nature, you have no pushback. The pushback is a system thing. If you feel what you feel what you feel. And if you find that right, you feel that is a right thing. And then you can always ask yourself, Am I do this in the context of humanity, and or am I, or what does nature do? Or is that now am I worried that I can't pay for my rent? Or is that now am I worried that I can't pay for your roof? That's a system fear that is, because, but it's also a mind construct. Systems make us, constantly think, because in systems they sell us
Can you define the word system for
system.
us?
Okay, system is everything bigger than a tribe. A tribe is Bible is like 50 people, whatever, and then it gets bigger. And actually, they say the best system is 150 people. The most efficient system that we have would be a group of 150 people, where people can exchange what they need. There's not too big. And I always say the example: if let's say we three want to do a garden, right? Mm-hmm. We want to tend the garden, and I say I take Monday, Tuesday. You take Wednesday, Thursday, and you, April, take Friday, Saturday, whatever, And on the weekends we all get together. Now, if we want to bring all our family in, and all of a sudden have 150 people, then we need a schedule, and we need a whole administration to get to to enjoy. The enjoyment of the garden isn't worth anymore the effort, and that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah.
We're seeing the systems became so heavy, they're so big, they can't tend to the individuality of every person. Mm. See, why do we have races? Why do we have genders? Because a system, a king said, "Oh my God," an insane king said, "Okay, I gotta get this other tribe too." Usually, indigenous tribes are leaving each other like animals. So when they get they walk away. The earth is big enough. But the king says, I need to get that. I need to have their space. And said, okay, who are the best warriors? Oh, men, for whatever reason, which was wrong anyway, but men are the wrong. So I have to separate. What am I going to do? Okay, the man go fight for me, and the woman tend to the babies and make food. And then we say, okay, now we keep conquering everything. Oh, there's people that don't look like us. They have a different skin, different eyes. Oh, we're going to get them systemized, what they are. Obviously, we are the best because we conquered them, which is a system thought. In nature, there's no best. An elephant and an ant is no difference. It has value because it exists. So if you have value and you exist, and the ant doesn't say, oh my God, I wish I was an elephant, or the elephant doesn't say, okay, I wish I was as small as an ant that could go anywhere. That doesn't exist. They're just here. They are like you guys are. For me, you're here. I don't see. I mean, obviously, I see you a woman. Obviously, I see you a different color than me. But I see you as human. I try to recondition myself to see you, every person that I come in contact with, as a human. And now that is where you're coming from, what you're doing, and so on.
So, like in nature, from what I hear, they mind their path. They mind their business. They mind their path.
Exactly.
And what has happened to humanity, because you talked about the systems, which I understand, it's like, well, we want to protect this group because this XYZ happened, but then the protection went so far that it's a controlled thing.
Exactly.
And so we're not able to just freely be one as nature would have us be. So now we're minding other people's gardens and other people's business.
Exactly.
Because they have a different level or whatever it is in us. So which is probably why gender roles are so hard in some relationships, because what we're told it should be by a system, it doesn't work in every aspect. And that's where a breakdown in intimacy can come from.
Yep. We're one of one. Everyone is a one of one. Doesn't matter the color, doesn't matter the race, anything. The gender, we are one of one. Every woman is one. Every human is one of one. So the bigger you make generalizations, stereotypes, this whole thing, that's the conflict that we are right now fighting with. The conflict is we have so stereotyped, we have so genderized, we have so sexuality and race and everything is so, it's become our language to communicate to each other. now it's collapsing because the individuality, we all feel we are not intimate. We all feel like we're separated out of the city. We don't fit in, right? We don't, we like it, but we don't fit in,
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think, if we just get compartmentalized, that we created systems, and on the other side of systems are important. I'm not saying get rid of system revolutions. I don't say that. What I'm saying is we have created system, and they got so big, and over generation we haven't looked at them. And what happened is now they are so big, and now we have to adapt to them. They're not systems are made like somebody of you said safety. Yeah, you create a system to be safe. You create a tribe to be safe. So the first thing any system should do is safety.
Right.
But now systems are not doing you safe. When you have a fear, you are in a system and you need a roof over your head, and you can't, and the systems, various systems, because they all work together, don't align, you can't get a new roof.
Right.
Period. That's it. And that creates stress that is unnecessary, because in a tribe, somebody needs a roof, we all help together and we make a roof. Obviously, we can't do that when the world is one tribe, but perhaps the one tribe of the world should be small tribes that are all individually sufficient. I'm not saying, but I'm saying it's I think it's a consciousness thing. Once you're aware that you're a woman or a man, you don't have to think about it. Once you're aware that we have gravity and things fall down, we don't have to discuss that. We don't have to make a show about gravity. You know what I mean? Or that you guys are girls and I'm a man. We don't have to make a show about this. It's obvious. We are aware of that. And when you're aware of certain things, then life gets easier. I believe that the compartmentalizing of where our stress comes from, which comes 90% from systems, from system navigation and working in them, is created, and that's also destroying our intimacy. It's just ripping us apart. More refined, you're not a woman, you're a lesbian. You're not you're a woman, a lesbian, whatever. The butch, you're the male lesbian. I mean, all these definitions, they're never defining the human being that person is. It's just their preferences.
Yeah. So, and I heard you say an important word, fear.
Yeah.
Fear has taken over the ease of intimacy.
Exactly. Because you're thinking, not now, I'm not, and we know from when you have sex, when you're intimate, all the stuff that you tell, all the stories that you tell before are extinguished, right? I can say, I'm the hunk, I'm the bull, I'm everything. I'm all that. I take my clothes off, right? And the truth. And then you shock, obviously, because you're living the story as a system, right?
Right.
And then your love, your feeling for that person, and you undress, and she undresses, and you see more that you expected, because your mind construct was about her stories and your stories, right? And the mind's constructs take us a part of the intimacy. What do you do with it? Are you discussing with the dog what you're gonna do, or do you just pet the dog? I'm not saying just jump into bed with anybody. What I'm saying is that's why I was always forced to be, because of my neurodiversity, of my dyslexia and dysgraphia. I was always pushed out of systems. So I can relate to all humans, because when they didn't fit in, or when they had it hard, because I couldn't even fit in any system. I couldn't read. I had a hard time. By the way, I have no education, guys. Everything is self-taught, because I couldn't comprehend it. And
so what you're also saying is that your preferences, your roles, does not really define who a person is.
Yeah. It's not. It's
Right,
your image is not who you are.
right, and it's making that intimate connection.
Yeah.
You know, looking. We see so much of the outside, but what really happens is the things that are inside that we don't see.
And what the funny thing is, when you guys are sensitive, you really don't go for the looks. The looks is the attention getter.
Yeah.
It's like the engagement. It's like, and that's why I say art is such a superpower, because in 19th century you saw these old still lifes, and what do they do in the still lifes? They put bugs on them. They take a goblet and falls down and runs out the liquid out. Because if they would just do a bunch of fruits, people would just walk by, But when they see the engagement point, like that's what you do. We are good in engaging. We look at nature. They have the patterning, the colors, right? So look at me. So look at me and and basically I see that it's look at me and give me a chance. I see that as engagement, not look at me and then you are delusional and think I'm all that. Look at my Ferrari, right? And then and think that's me.
Right.
It's giving me a chance. It's when you engage somebody, it's giving me a chance.
Right. So,
and
Michael,
then you go into the intimacy.
There are a lot of people out there who feel disconnected.
Yeah.
They don't feel maybe even connected with humanity just because of how this world is. What would be your suggestion on helping people to connect back to humanity, even back to themselves?
Again, the compartmentalizing that the power is experienced in togetherness, inclusiveness, and it's all human. So if I say blank, I said accept that we're all a human.
Right.
Understand that we are our power, or if you look for God or for whatever you're looking for, you want to see real power. It's not having $1 billion. A real power is when you have good friends. And so the inclusion is where you find what you're looking for. It's not separation. You might have to separate for a time to find a little bit more of who you are, but ultimately you want to integrate in this experience of human experience. And we are defined by system as a herd animal, social animal, right? So just remind yourself of that. There's nothing to do. Once you're aware of that, I guarantee, because everybody I talk to, I say, since I think about system and human, my life is like literally 50 or 70% easier.
Okay. Is that
awareness? It's just the awareness of it.
Right. So, like you said, you were outcast a lot in a variety of different ways. Yeah. And there are many people that are like that, but they have the fear of, if I try to connect again, I'm going to get rejected.
Guess what? Till 50, if I was 50, I hit the wall every day. Till I was 50, I hit the wall every day, and I tried, and I was good. When in school, I couldn't understand school. I had to repeat school, but I was always good with humans. See, when people are afraid, they are distorted, because when afraid of intimacy is the fear of what it means in the system, what intimacy is. Humans look at us. You just have to watch us. We are intimate right away. There's no conflict. We have never met each other. We're just intimate right away. That's how humans function. That is how humans function. In a system, if that was now a boardroom, in a boardroom, this is gone. Not for me. I would be still the same, but you probably too. But I'm saying, if we were in this system environment, you oh my God,
because you have certain protocols that you think
you have to go to Monopoly rules to play the Monopoly, right? So this you see how adaptable we are. So adapt. It's a superpower. I said, creativity is number one. Discourse, what we have now, human discourse, is the second superpower. That's why podcasts are so coming up. And the third superpower is adaptability, because nobody could survive a Holocaust, slavery, pandemic, whatever you go through, if we weren't adaptable. We are adaptable kings and queens, and that also shoots us. That is the thing, because we adapt so much to systems, but we now think intimacy through systems look like this, but intimacy is inherent in us. We are intimate. We have to see in our DNA. We don't need to learn intimacy.
Right. Actually, we're born through it, because we're born through a person.
Exactly. So it's so thing. And there was something I wanted to mention. We are everything we can be. We have to just unveil us. And unveiling is way more easier with other humans. Yeah, there are all other humans are a problem. Yes, they are. When they navigate through systems, what is a family? Family is a system too, right? So what should a father do? What should a mother do? What should the daughter do? What should the son do? The good boy, I'm a good girl, I'm a good boy syndrome. How is that defined? Everybody defines a good boy, a good girl different.
Yeah.
What is normal? I mean, everyone says, why can't you not be normal? Define normal. We just said, everybody is one. And once you become aware of this, your life gets so much easier. When you're aware that, hey, what am I doing here? Why is this? Because you have a feeling, and the feelings mean there's something you have to look at. Not that you have to change, not that we feel in love, that you have to hug these people and say, I need to get that person. But I have this feeling. Why do I have this feeling? Why do I have this drive? Or why am I so passionate about this? And those are all our senses, all the senses. And they're not in the brain. The answers are not in the brain. Forget anything, the answers of intimacy are not in the brain. Because you can read all libraries about love. If you have never experienced love, all the libraries that we have written about love are nothing. It's void, zero. Yeah. That's how much knowledge is worth, zero. We are an experience. We are being. We are an experiential living being.
Right.
We're not a man construct being. But we have become that. And that's why we have the problems and the stress. Mm-hmm. It's almost like an elephant or an ant saying, I need to be an elephant, or I need to be a giraffe. It doesn't work. Or whatever the system defined. If nature was a system and says, okay, the best thing is a giraffe, then everybody wants to be a giraffe, Mm-hmm. We all have a part. We are all inclusive. Everybody is a puzzle piece of the whole. Yeah. The more you find, the more you find, and there's no purpose in life, by the way. Nobody has it defined. But I think that's why you have to be in the moment, and not in, can we pay the roof? What I was a king once. Why did I lose that? These are all system thoughts. What we have to become is finding more of the puzzle piece that each of us is in the whole. And the more we find that, then the weave of humanity recognizes that. And then you are remembered for that, not for what you are in the system, not that you were the king of China or the billionaire of Google or anybody. This is irrelevant. It's about you want to experience power. This is power. Right now, we experience it. We show it. This is human power, not system power. We might be all poor and on the street. But it doesn't. Human power. It's always the human power, and we don't see it, and we don't think we are worthy because we have conditioned ourselves out of it over generations. It's not our fault. It's not, we're just unconscious of it, and we conditioned ourselves out of it that humans are worthy. Right. We elevate systems above human. We allow humanity, allows atrocity. You know,
That
they
is so
allow
true.
us to system define humans and then segregate them or punish them. Or, I mean, 80,000 people, 80,000 soldiers in the first months, 4 months in Ukraine and Russia.
I know.
A system, a person that, or two people that hide behind systems and using the system to manipulate people. And that can only happen if the people don't know their worth. If the people say, I have to die for this. Nobody has to die for anything. You're here to live and experience life. And you're not supposed to die. You're not supposed to be, you know,
Wow. Well, thank
an
you.
executor and an adapter for that the system keeps alive and you die. That's
Right. I know it's sad how this world is going, but the great thing is that we have to keep remembering that we are human and the humanity. And I love how you said we have these superpowers.
yeah.
Yes, definitely. So if people are out there listening and they're wanting more information about what you do, how should they connect?
Just go to michaellam.com. Michael with 2 L's, michaellam.com. And there's all my, I mean, I've done, I think, 120 interviews all over about different things, intimacy, systems, fear, all the other stuff. And it, I have nothing to sell. I mean, I've written 5 books, you know, and all kinds of stuff, but I do this because I thoroughly enjoy meeting new people, meeting more of my power, and I see how my impact. I see my impact on people, you know.
Yeah. And just to clarify, did you start this at after age 50? Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's impressive because some people feel like when they're 22 and they don't fit into a little box of some sort, their life is over. Or yeah. And how you made so many changes.
Yeah. I found out I always was, I got all my wisdom through creating art.
Okay.
So everything. So my savior, my anchor was in my whole life was art.
Okay.
And creating art. And so I was always an artist my whole life. And then when I was in 2014, I started this self-aware art movement where we know what we're doing and why we're doing it, and we can verbalize why we create what we create, and so that people understand that by the art, just to help sell art, you know, because 97% of artists are poor worldwide, you know, so around the poverty level. They're not poor, but they're along, they're rich, but they're poor according to systems, right? And that's probably also why they don't go back to systems, because they enjoy creating, you know. And then I started the self-aware art movement, and pretty much this was the biggest. Before that, I was unconscious. I was unconscious. I was always a sensitive guy. I never promised with people, but I was unconscious in seeing myself in the whole, in the humanity. I was unconscious. I was just thinking, I got to be an artist. I got to be successful. I got to be, you know, making a, you know, and it was just, I got to do this. I got to write a book. I got to do this. I got to do that. And then I achieved that, and it never satisfied me. So I achieved the cover of the magazine, achieved the exhibition on the International Airport. I achieved to be arts commissioner of a city, you know, of Newport Beach. So I achieved all these things, and they never made any dent. They never got that. And I heard it from Oscar, Grammy, because they're system accolades. They're human beings, not human achievers to get a system reward.
Right.
It's just a nice icing on the cake if I put an Oscar on my mantle. But it should remind me of the way that I got to that and how that journey was so beautiful. Yeah. I mean, I mean, being the now is the only thing where you can cut off fears. because fear is a man's construct. Unless something is attacking me right now, I don't need to have fear.
Right.
Exactly.
That's an experiential fear.
Yeah.
And then I think we are the best example of intimacy right now in this episode. Yeah.
True.
True. Well, thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Michael. This was very inspirational.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And I applaud everything that you've done. Yes. And thank you. And I'll definitely be checking out more of your interviews and getting more information. Yep. So if you're out there and you're listening, definitely check out Michaell with a LLM.com. Thank you for being on our show.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Be back in a moment.
Learn to cultivate a deeper connection with yourself and your inner spirit in order to further manifest a more fulfilling, intimate life. Find your purpose in life, develop unwavering confidence, heal your inner child, and authentically live this purpose every day. It starts with you. Couldn't be further from the truth. Intimacy is not taboo, nor should it cost a fortune. Get your copy today. It Starts With You is available on Amazon, Audible, and
Welcome back to the Bringing Intimacy show, where intimacy is real. Well, that was extremely powerful.
It was, and I'm really hoping that even if somebody just catching the replay, that they really just, it's almost like going back to the basics, go back to the root, go back to when things were less fearful. You know, the reason why children learn so much is because they haven't been taught these fears. You know, they learn to walk because they're not fearful of it. They learn to talk because they're not fearful of it. They learn to just love whoever they're born to and whoever they're around because they're not fearful of it. So this is a very good topic.
Yeah, it reminded me, well, as you may or may not know, I've started improv.
Okay.
Yes, with a small group of people that I've never met in my life. And it's an intimate moment, but also with improv, it's just being real at the moment. We just totally, it's that intimacy and there's no fear. You know what I'm saying? And kind of, I'm glad he explained what systems meant. There's no like system limitation.
And, you know, some people are even scared to not have systems. When I do some, you know, the bedroom candy parties, I would have this game and I would give just 3 rules that were pretty much do whatever you want to do. And everyone would always ask, well, can I do this? Well, I said, hey, it's totally up to you. Yes. And so we're definitely not used to it. So definitely great topic, great host. Michaell was awesome at explaining and giving us detail. And speaking of that, we have a lot more that's coming up in the next couple weeks. So next week on the 17th, we have Michaell Magrutsche with hunting for symptoms that lead to your next level up. Then we are going to have Thanksgiving holiday. So everyone enjoy time together on the 24th. Then we'll be back on December the 1st with psychotherapy, one of the most intimate relationships you will have with someone. And that is going to be with Miss Sylvia. I will not butcher her last name. I will learn to say it and I will say it next week. I promise you. And then on December the 8th, Becoming Your CEO Self with confidence coach Antoine Billboard.
Yes.
So wow. Great shows.
Yes. Well, this has been a wonderful show. And if you're out there listening, learn how to stay in the present moment.
Yes,
be okay, absolutely. And recognize that we're all humans. And it's take away the fear of just connecting. You know, and you can change at any time. I mean, what Michaell did, I was like, wow. So if you're wanting to know more about him, check out his website, Michaell with a LLM.com. And for all of you guys, we will see you guys next week. This has been the Bringing Intimacy Back show, where intimacy is real.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Bringing Intimacy Back, where intimacy is real. You can also find us at bringingintimacyback.com, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Dr. April Brown's 7-book series, Improving Intimacy, is now on Amazon. We'll see you next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Don't forget to follow, share, and subscribe.